Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win.
Hey everyone, what's up? It's Cubs fan Han back again for a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, and the Phoenix squad is getting reworked. A lot of us have been asking for that. We're gonna get 5 new Zeta abilities in the game. Holy cow. More Zeta abilities, not enough ways to get Zetas. That's something I'm going to talk about, but we are going to see some Zeta abilities on the Phoenix squad, which is really sweet. They're going to be more viable. I'm going to talk through how viable I think they're going to become. But also something I want to call out before I actually get into their kit is that I am starting a new video series called Bag of Questions. This is going to be about a bi-weekly maybe series, maybe a little bit less than bi-weekly, where I'm going to be taking questions from you guys, and I'm just going to be going through them in a video. Questions about anything. You can ask me about myself, you can ask me about the game, you can ask me about how I put videos together, that kind of thing. Go ahead and put those questions down in the comments below, and I'll be happy to address them. I'll probably do about 5 to 15 bag of questions per video. But I also have a whole channel on my Discord server for my YouTube subscribers. That link is in the description. Go ahead and check that out because I'm actually gathering most of the questions that I will be addressing there. So something to keep in mind going forward. So let's take a look at what we have coming up for the Phoenix squad. So, like I said, everyone's getting a Zeta ability except for Chopper, but Chopper is still going to receive a couple Omega upgrades. But first and foremost, Hera, her play to strengths ability is going to get an upgrade. The Zeta upgrade reads plus 25% potency and dispel all debuffs, reduce cooldowns by 1, and grants 50% turn meter if the target is Phoenix. So the final ability is going to read, call in a target ally to assist. That ally has plus 50% potency now instead of 25. They deal 35% more damage, and if the target ally is Phoenix, dispel all debuffs, reduce their cooldowns by 1, and grants 50% turn meter. That's really cool, and especially having that cooldown decrease is something that is proving more and more valuable in the arena. Just ask anyone who runs Resistance how much they love that cooldown decrease, and you will find out exactly why. It's good. It's not, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's definitely to be desired, and plus 50% potency is always going to be nice, especially on the Phoenix squad because there's a lot of debuffs that are going around. Maybe not as much as other teams, but a good amount of debuffs is going to make that pretty valuable to have that plus 50% potency. Kanan also gets a Zeta ability on total defense. The Zeta upgrade reads, dispel all debuffs on Phoenix allies, grant Kanan and target ally foresight for 2 turns, and defense up to all Phoenix allies for 3 turns. And when foresight expires, Kanan gains 100% turn meter, and the other Phoenix ally gains 50% turn meter. That one is pretty cool. I'm going to say this is cooler than Hera's ability, and I think this could make Kanan somewhat viable to have that 100% turn meter as soon as his foresight expires. That's super cool. And then he's going to be giving defense to all Phoenix allies, so maybe you want to run him with Ezra or something like that. I'm still not going to be necessarily buying a full Phoenix squad, but maybe. So the final ability text, all of it reads, Kanan dispels all debuffs from Phoenix allies, grants himself and target ally foresight up and protection up 40% for 2 turns, and grants all Phoenix allies defense up for 3 turns. Kanan gains 100% turn meter when each foresight expires, and other Phoenix allies gain 50% turn meter. So I'm reading this, I'm actually noticing now reading through it, something I didn't notice the first time is that he gains 100% turn meter when each foresight expires. So that's a lot of turn meter grant, and then all the other Phoenix allies are getting 50% turn meter, so that's a lot of turn meter manipulation, and I think that ability is going to be really, really cool, especially with the Phoenix squad. Sabine is the next Zeta ability coming. She gets, let's see here, Demolish. Zeta upgrade is plus 15% bonus damage, alright, for each active Phoenix ally. Okay, so that's going to be up to 15 times 5 for each Phoenix ally. Stagger all enemies, all of them. Grant all Phoenix allies offense up and critical chance for 2 turns. Holy cow, okay, so that's good. Expose the target enemy, then inflict an additional expose on random enemy for each other active Phoenix ally. So you could expose, in theory, everyone on the other team, reduce the cooldown of Demolish by 2 if this attack scores a critical hit. Wow. So if you're going to have that critical chance up, then you're going to be able to do this a lot. That is really cool. So the final ability text is deal physical damage and inflict stagger to all enemies for 2 turns. Grants all Phoenix allies offense up and critical chance up for 2 turns. Expose the target enemy and inflict additional exposes on random enemies for each other active Phoenix ally. This attack can't be countered or evaded and deals 15% more damage for each active Phoenix ally. If this attack scores a critical hit, reduce Sabrine's cooldowns by 2. Really cool. I think that's a really solid Zeta ability as well. So far, I think I'm feeling Kanan's the most. Then Sabine's and Harrow's, I would say, is just kind of okay. Ezra also gets I'd say an okay Zeta ability, but Ezra is one of the best, I mean, he's the best Phoenix Squad character. He didn't really need a Zeta upgrade to be viable, but he is going to get one, and it's still good. So this is on Florus, which is his first special that's going to be dispelling, and it's going to be doing a lot of damage, and he gains turn meter if there's no buffs that he's dispelling. But at any rate, Zeta upgrade is plus 15% or 50% damage, plus 25% turn meter gain, and gains defense up for 2 turns. So this is nice. Not critical, but nice. 50% damage is cool, and I'm really excited to see, and I'll be sure to test this out for you guys as soon as I can, just how much damage he ends up doing on that special, because he's already able to deal a pretty hefty amount of damage on that special. 50% more might be pretty cool, and then he's also going to gain 25% turn meter extra. So if you're wanting to use the Phoenix Squad, I think Ezra's Zeta ability might be lower on the priority list, but something I'm noticing here is that he actually doesn't have any dependency on the Zeta ability to the other members of the Phoenix Squad. So if you're already using Ezra in your teams, which a lot of people are in Rebel sets, then I think the Zeta ability could have a lot more use for you, and then it's just one Zeta ability upgrade instead of upgrading an entire team of 5 Zetas to make Phoenix viable. So food for thought. So Zeb, Staggering Sweep is getting a Zeta upgrade. The cooldown is -1 on the Zeta upgrade, plus 75% bonus damage and plus 20% bonus damage equal to the enemy's maximum health. If the target enemy has no debuffs, ignore armor. If the target is buffed, gain 50% critical damage. If the target is debuffed, this attack can't be evaded, and Zeb gains 10% turn meter for each active Phoenix ally. Okay, there is a lot here. Let's break this down just a bit more, shall we? So 75% damage, bonus damage, 20% bonus damage, equal to enemy's maximum health. So okay, so that's 20% damage equal to the enemy's maximum health if the target has no debuff. So that's pretty sweet, especially if you're going against a heavier character. It ignores armor. That's nice. And if the target is buffed, you gain 50% critical damage. If the target is debuffed, it can't be evaded. So I would say let's attack some of those debuffed characters. It can't be evaded, and Zeb gains 10% turn meter for each active Phoenix ally. So if you're running with the full Phoenix Squad, that's going to be 50% turn meter and can't be evaded. That's a pretty solid Zeta upgrade as well. So the final ability text, I've kind of already broken this down several times. You guys can read it. And then Chopper gets an Omega upgrade, which gives him plus 10% cooldown reduction chance, and also applies to droid allies on Reckless Fling. And so the final ability text reads, deal physical damage to target enemy and grant a random Phoenix or droid ally offense up, defense up, or speed up at random for 2 turns, and with a 60% chance to also reduce the allies' cooldowns by 1. And so that was a 50%, now we're going up to 60%, and that is an Omega upgrade, not a Zeta ability. Chopper also gets an Omega upgrade. Alright, I misread earlier. I said he had 1. He gets 2. Maintenance Protocols also gets an Omega upgrade. Let's see. The upgrade reads plus 4% health, plus 4% protection. Alright. And Chopper has a 30% chance to assist when other droid or other Phoenix or droid allies use an ability on their turn. So final ability text at the start of his turn. Chopper recovers 15% of his max health. In addition, whenever he is damaged by an attack, he gains protection up 15%, and if he doesn't have protection up, and then Chopper has a 30% chance to assist when another Phoenix or droid ally uses an ability during their turn. Alright, and then I'll highlight down here to some of the general strategy, hero synergies, and where to use tips that the developers are sending our way. I'm not going to read over all of these because I do want to take a second and talk through some of my thoughts on this. First and foremost, I think it's awesome that the Phoenix Squad is getting a rework. We were really pushed into farming the Phoenix Squad when Thrawn came out, and it was kind of disappointing because they're not really usable in that many areas of the game. Well, now the Phoenix is becoming more usable. We've got areas of territory battles where we've got to use Phoenix, and so it's at least worth it to have them, and hopefully we have a Thrawn event coming soon that we will need Phoenix Squad for. But I'm not necessarily sold on this all of a sudden making Phoenix Squad Arena viable, especially because of how many zetas it's probably going to depend on. Now, I would like to test that out on my test account. I will be able to zeta all of these characters, and so I will take them into the arena for you and fight the meta with it and see with all of these zeta upgrades if it's going to be worthwhile. But from where I'm sitting, I'm a free-to-play player primarily. I've got, you know, I've maybe spent $60 tops on this game lifetime, and so dishing out that many zetas for a team is not something I'm personally anxious to do. I'm guessing you guys aren't either. So maybe fully zeted out, decked out, we put 5 zeta abilities on all of the Phoenix characters except for Chopper and take them into the arena. Maybe now we've got some viability because there are some really cool zeta upgrades in here. I think they're impressive, and I'm excited to see how they work, but I'm really just not convinced that this is going to be that desirable that you want to dish out 5 zeta abilities to get it to work when you could just run what you're running right now, Commander Luke Skywalker perhaps, with General Kenobi, R2-D2, Rebels, maybe General Kenobi and Barriss with the zeta. Those teams are less dependent on zetas. It looks to me like this new Phoenix Squad might be more dependent on zeta abilities because it looks like the only upgrades we're really getting here are the zeta abilities. Their kits aren't really getting reworked. We're just adding that zeta ability. So that's something to consider, but the abilities themselves, the zeta abilities, throw out how logical it is to dish out that many zetas. I think the zeta abilities do look good. It's just right now a matter of, is it really going to be logically that worth it to dish out 5 zeta abilities, which is 100 zeta ability mats, to get them into the arena viable. You might want to handpick 1 or 2. I think Kanan's zeta ability definitely looks really cool. I think, let's see, Zeb's looks pretty cool, and Sabine's looked pretty alright. Ezra's I think I could pass on. I would be less urgent, at least, on his if you wanted to run Phoenix Squad. He might be one of the last ones because he's already just that viable. But maybe with just a couple Zeta abilities, we would have some viability in there. So, anyway, what are some of your thoughts on the Phoenix Squad? Are you excited to give Zetas to any of these characters, or are you not? Something that I'm personally thinking is it just feels like so many Zeta abilities, and I'm really hoping that the time is near where we get like a Zeta challenge or something in the daily challenges, or maybe an event or something where we can farm Zetas more, because there's so many Zeta abilities that a lot of us would love to get to, but it's just such a grind to get there, and the crunch is so real. It takes so long to get Zeta abilities in the game. So whatever the case is, I do hope that you liked the video. Let me know what you think about the Phoenix Squad down in the comments below. And if you did like the video, drop a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, don't forget...
over my dead body. Sorry about the mess.